In an interview I've given recently, I explained that borderlines do not love bomb the way narcissists do. Only narcissists love bomb. Borderlines idealize. This created a hailstorm of objections and criticisms and personal attacks and vile comments and you name it, and so on and so forth. And here I am today to disambiguate these concepts, to explain the differences, and they are massive, between grooming, love bombing, and idealization. These are not the same things. Although looking from the outside, they may appear to be identical because all of them involve a kind of laser focus on the target or the victim. All of them involve the generation and engendering of an unrealistic view of the victim or the target as perfect. And all of them involve what appears to be goal-oriented or goal-directed or goal-focused set or patterns of behavior. So a layman looking from the outside would say they're one and the same. They're not. And here I am to explain to you why. And who am I? My name is Sam Vaknin. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited, the first book ever on narcissistic abuse. I'm also a professor of psychology. So you better listen to me. Okay, Shoshanim. Here's a rule of thumb. Psychopaths groom, narcissists love bomb, and then idealize. Borderlines idealize. They go straight to idealization. They do not transition through a love bombing phase. Let me repeat this because it's a very useful distinction. When you come across grooming, it involves a psychopath. When someone love bombs you and then idealizes you, that's probably a narcissist. And when someone idealizes you from the get-go, it's in all likelihood a borderline. Now, grooming and love bombing are conscious actions, conscious activities. The psychopath knows that he is grooming. The narcissist is fully aware of his love bombing tactics, and they all do this, both of them do this in order to obtain a goal. Whereas idealization is an unconscious process, totally automatic. It is triggered and then it becomes an inexorable machinery. The individual does not have control over the process of idealization. The individual cannot say, I'm going to stop this idealization from going forward. So this is the first major difference. Whereas grooming and love bombing are motivated, consciously driven activities and behaviors, idealization just snaps into action, is triggered unconsciously, and takes over. Let's start with grooming. Grooming is a psychopathic behavior. Grooming is about the fostering of a bond, the engendering of some kind of deep, profound attachment, the creation of some kind of an addiction. In the animal kingdom, grooming involves a behavior where animals pick through one another's hair or fur or feathers, and grooming of other members of an animal's group may serve both hygienic and social functions. It's a social activity. It enhances bonding between the members of a tribe or a clan or a group or a flock or whatever. This is known as allogrooming. Allo, like A-L-L-O, grooming, one word. Allogrooming, according to the American Psychological Association dictionary, is, and I'm quoting, a behavior that involves two or more non-human animals picking through each other's fur, hair, or feathers, often thought to have a solely hygienic function, the removal of dirt or parasites. But allogrooming has been shown to have positive social effects as well, through production of endogenous opioids in recipients. It is thus a mechanism that reinforces social relationships, and that's exactly what the psychopath does. The psychopath grooms people, sometimes minors. The psychopath grooms people in order to create extremely strong super glue bonding, attachment that cannot be reversed, form of addiction, extreme addiction, and then gaining control over the target of the grooming. The psychopath can motivate the target, the mark, to do anything the psychopath wants. So grooming is a control mechanism. It's an activity intended to supplant or replace or substitute for the victim or the target's independent critical thinking and ability to gauge reality. It involves frequently a kind of gaslighting. Love bombing is very different to grooming. Love bombing, like grooming, is goal-oriented, but the goals are very different. Whereas in grooming, the goal is obtaining control, fostering bonding, creating attachment, and then manipulating the target or the mark to modify behaviors or to act in certain ways, leveraging the bond, leveraging the attachment, emotionally blackmailing the target. This is grooming. Love bombing has a completely different set of goals. Love bombing, to remind you, is a strictly narcissistic behavior of narcissists. What are the goals of love bombing? Number one, to prepare the ground for the next phase of idealization. Number two, to allow the narcissist to create an internal object which represents the external object, represents the potential in the narcissist's mind. So the narcissist spots and then auditions potential sources of narcissistic supply, potential participants in the shared fantasy, and having spotted them and having successfully auditioned them, the narcissist now snapshots them, introjects them, creates an image, an internal representation, an avatar in his or her mind, which then these internal objects represent the external objects, the real people. So to prepare for this process of snapshotting, this process of introjection, this process of converting real life, separate and external people into manipulable, totally controllable internal objects, to prepare for this, the narcissist love bombs. The third reason, the third goal of love bombing is to constitute an audition, to audition potentials, to put them, to test them in a way. When the narcissist love bombs a target, he expects some kind of feedback, some kind of input from the target. For example, the narcissist would love bomb a target and then would test whether the target finds him irresistible. So there is a testing element, testing function in love bombing. It's a form of auditioning. And finally, one of the main goals of love bombing is to begin to establish a shared fantasy. Love bombing in this sense is a narrative, an overarching piece of fiction that then later becomes a shared reality, shared virtual reality of the narcissist and his victim. Love bombing, therefore, is not about you. It's about the narcissist. Love bombing is the narcissist's attempt to test you, make sure that you are the right material, the right stuff, that you fit into the shared fantasy, that you would become a perfect, unconditionally loving maternal figure, that you would find him irresistible, you would adore him, adulate him, that you would provide him with the 4 S's, sex, supply, services, safety. It's a testing phase. At the same time, the narcissist establishes a shared fantasy and converts you into an internal object. It's all about himself. The narcissist love bombing is the narcissist talking to himself about you. The narcissist trying to convince himself that you are the right one. The narcissist trying to fit you into a narrative and a shared fantasy. The narcissist trying to set the ground for your idealization. It's a preparatory phase, it's preparation. Love bombing That's why love bombing feels a bit unreal, a bit fantastic. Love bombing feels too good to be true, or exaggerated, or hyperbolic, or out there. Whenever you're exposed to love bombing, there's always a sense of discomfort, always a kind of suspicion or doubt that this whole thing is real. Always an element, a pronounced element of fantasy. Love bombing is not always a super pleasant experience, and it should be clearly distinguished from idealization, which is always a great experience. So this is love bombing. It's about the narcissist. It fulfills the narcissist's internal demands. It caters to the narcissist's psychological needs, and it sets in motion the inexorable machinery of the shared fantasy. Having done all this, love bombing allows the narcissist to transition to the next phase. The next phase is idealization. That's where people get completely confused. They confuse love bombing with idealization because the message is identical. During the love bombing phase, the narcissist would tell you that you are drop dead gorgeous, that you're hyper intelligent, that you can do no wrong, that you are unprecedentedly fascinating, that he's never come across someone like you, he's never felt better than when he's with you, etc. And it sounds a lot like idealization, doesn't it? But it's not, because this is an internal monologue. This is the narcissist telling himself that you are perfect. This is a narcissist trying to convince himself that you are amazing and fascinating and drop dead gorgeous and super intelligent. It's not a dialogue. It's not about you. It's not directed at you. It's directed at the narcissist. The narcissist bounces off you these generalizations, these exaggerated hyperbolic statements. He bounces them off you in order to see how you're going to react. Your reaction determines whether you fit into the nascent emerging shared fantasy or not. And if you pass this audition phase, the narcissist then proceeds to idealize you. Idealization is about object acquisition. Idealization is intended to expose you to your idealized version, to your own perfection, via the narcissist's gaze. Narcissist intends to get you addicted to this way of seeing yourself. Narcissist wants you to fall in love with yourself, to get infatuated with yourself, but not with your real self, but with the idealized image of you, with a photoshopped snapshot, with the avatar that represents you in his mind, which is a perfect being and a blemishless, impeccable entity. And so the narcissist creates this image of you, which is known in psychoanalytical literature as ego ideal. He creates this image of you, then he gives you access to this image via his gaze, monopolistic gaze, and then you fall in love with the way the narcissist sees you. Narcissist idealizes you. He exposes you to this ideal, perfect version of yourself, and then he makes you fall in love and get infatuated with this version of yourself, which only the narcissist can give you access to via his gaze. So idealization is about getting you addicted, about making sure that you stick around, about making you fall in love with this internal object in the narcissist's mind that represents you in a way that makes you lovable, makes you perfect, makes you adequate, strips away all your self-doubt, all your vulnerabilities and weaknesses, renders you a godlike figure. So this is idealization. That way, the narcissist acquires you as a participant in the shared fantasy, acquires you as a source of narcissistic supply. He converts you into a permanent object. He objectifies you in a way. So idealization is about object acquisition, whereas love bombing is a kind of interaction between the narcissist and you, where the narcissist tries to convince himself that you are ideal. Having convinced himself, he then idealizes you and lets you gain access, lets you observe this idealized version of you. And so the narcissist in the shared fantasy idealizes you and then loves you unconditionally because as an ideal perfect object, you are eminently lovable. And this is known as the dual mothership concept. I'm not going to it right now. Similarly, borderlines also idealize. And the aim of idealization, the purpose of idealization in borderline personality disorder is exactly the same as it is in narcissistic personality disorder, to acquire the desirable object. The borderline desires an intimate partner. She wants the intimate partner in her life. She's terrified of being abandoned and rejected by the intimate partner. She wants to outsource many of her ego functions to the intimate partner. She wants the intimate partner to stabilize her moods, her labile moods, to regulate her dysregulated emotions, to make her feel good, to restore inner peace. These are the functions of the intimate partner, and she needs the intimate partner to be present in her life, and to do so she must acquire the intimate partner, gain possession over the intimate partner, own the intimate partner. And how does she do that? Exactly the way the narcissist does. She idealizes the intimate partner. She provides the intimate partner or the special person with narcissistic supply. She controls the intimate partner from the bottom. She idealizes the intimate partner by adulating and admiring the intimate partner on the one hand, and by becoming needy and totally dependent on the intimate partner on the other hand. Both are forms of idealization. When the borderline informs the intimate partner how perfect he is, how amazing, how unique, etc., she is idealizing him, and she does this by providing him with an endless stream and flow of narcissistic supply. At the same time, when she tells the intimate partner, I can't live without you, I can't function without you, I don't know what's real and what's not without you, she is also aggrandizing the intimate partner. It's also a form of narcissistic supply. This control from the bottom, this neediness, this clinging is also a form of supply. And so the borderline converts her intimate partner or special persons in her life into impromptu narcissists, situational narcissists, by providing them with high-grade, irresistible narcissistic supply. It's like heroin. It's a drug. They become addicted to it. You see that both narcissists and borderlines idealize others, but for different reasons and in different ways. In psychoanalytic theory, idealization is actually a defense mechanism. It protects the individual from conscious feelings of ambivalence towards the idealized object. For example, in early childhood, we idealize our parents and other important role models and figures. And these parents and role models, they play a role in the development of what Freud called the ego ideal, the way we want to see ourselves, the way we imagine ourselves, the way we aspire to be. With a parent, for example, the parent is idealized. It's very difficult to begin to perceive the parent realistically. Warts and all, shortcomings, failings, weaknesses, vulnerabilities, difficult. And so the child idealizes the parents precisely in order to avoid the realization that the parent is compromised, that the parent is less than perfect, that the parent is weak, that the parent is vulnerable, that the parent is mistaken, prone to error, that the parent is human. The child idealizes the parent in order to avoid having to confront these kind of extremely threatening and uncomfortable feelings and realizations and knowledge about the parents. The borderline does the same. She idealizes the intimate partner or the special person because she wants to avoid the terrifying truth that her intimate partner may be less than perfect, may be weak, may be vulnerable, and may definitely abandon her and reject her. The narcissist idealizes for a completely different reason. The narcissist idealizes the intimate partner to create in the intimate partner an addiction to this idealized image of herself. So whereas a narcissist is a lot more psychopathic, a lot more goal-oriented, narcissist idealizes you so that you become addicted to this idealization and will never abandon him, never leave him. What the borderline does, she idealizes the intimate partner because she cannot cope with reality. It's a form of escapism, a form of reframing, fallaciously reframing the intimate partner or the special person. So you can see idealization, it's the same psychological process, completely different etiology, completely different reasons, completely different goals, and so on and so forth. There's even an example of similar dynamics at play in therapy. In self-psychology, there's something called narcissistic transference. When narcissistic transference is activated in treatment, the patient experiences the analyst or therapist or clinician as a powerful and benevolent parental figure. The patient idealizes the therapist, idealizes the clinician. People even idealize YouTubers like myself. They convert us into parental figures. And these parental figures are flawless, blemishless. So when engaged in this form of transference, the patient feels protected, able to share in the power and capabilities of the therapist. The same way a young child idealizes the parent and feels protected by the parent because the parent then becomes a godlike figure. It was first described by Austrian-born US psychoanalyst Heinz Kohlt. So, to summarize, psychopaths groom, and they groom in order to create attachment and bonding that are so powerful that the grooming target or the grooming victim will do anything for the psychopath. No inhibitions, no boundaries, no rules, no limits. That's grooming. Love bombing is when the narcissist creates the ground for the shared fantasy. And love bombing involves a series of goals to prepare the ground for the idealization, to create an internal object that represents you in the narcissist's mind, to audition you, to test you in many ways. How do you react to the love bombing? Are you amenable to the narcissist's charms? Do you find the narcissist irresistible? Are you likely to join him in the shared fantasy? Are you less likely to abandon and reject him and so on? And so love bombing is about the narcissist. It's a narcissist's attempt to cast, role casting, if you wish, to cast you in the role, the role of participant in the shared fantasy, a source of supply, whatever. Narcissist auditions you. Love bombing is an audition. It's a test. And then there's idealization. Idealization, in the case of the narcissist, is about acquiring you, owning you, possessing you as an object. And the narcissist does this by exposing you to an ideal version of yourself, which is very addictive and causes you to fall in love with yourself via the narcissist's exclusive gaze. The borderline idealizes for completely different reasons. The borderline idealizes her intimate partner or special person because she needs to create this fictitious figure, parental figure, who is able to take over critical psychodynamics and psychological functions and needs of the borderline. The borderline idealizes by providing her target with high-grade, purified, unadulterated narcissistic supply in a variety of forms and ways. Whereas a narcissist in the idealization phase lets you generate your own narcissistic supply by being exposed to your ideal image, to the ideal internal object, idealized internal object in the narcissist's mind. The borderline simply provides narcissistic supply. So from the outside, observing these various dynamics and various behaviors, one could easily mistake one for the other. But it's wrong. It's wrong. Some of these processes and behaviors are conscious, some of them are unconscious. Some of them have to do with attachment and bonding, others have to do with manipulation and Machiavellian tricks, some of them have to do with object acquisition, some of them have to do with self-delusion and the generation of a fantasy, overpowering fantasy. Some of them have to do with abandonment anxiety, separation insecurity, some of them have to do with other things, object acquisition. They are not the same. These three processes are not the same, and don't confuse them from now on.